Hello everyone, Crazy Camper here. I also have a channel called Ontario Parks. Anyways, I'm here to talk about the new season 2 of Alone. It airs at 9 o'clock on the History Channel every Thursday. And if you don't know about the show, the premise is really simple. 10 people get dropped off, separated on Northwest Vancouver Island, and they can take 10 items with them. They have a GPS so the producers can track them, and they also have a satellite phone so they can call home and tap out when they want to quit. Last person staying there longest to survive wins $500,000. But first of all, I want to say I am by no means a survival expert. I just have a big passion for camping. I have a mouth, a computer, a YouTube channel, so why not put my opinion out there and see what everyone has to say. So feel free to comment, criticize me if you want, whatever. We'll get a conversation going in the comments below. But during the video, I'll be ranking our competitors on the show from 10 at the worst to number 1 on where I think they're currently going to finish based on where we're at in the show. And so I'll go from top to bottom of the rankings. So I'll start off at 10 and then we'll go the way down and talk about the characters. But number 10, we already know that Desmond tapped out this episode, so I put him at number 10. And there's a big gap because we only have 3 more left. So I'm basing all these rankings on various things, such as, of course, you got to look at their location, how their emotions are doing, what are they making priority, what kind of physical shape are they in, what kind of skill set do they have, and where are they from. So the rankings, at the end of day 2, episode 1, we got Desmond White eliminated, so he's at number 10. Mary Kate, number 3. Tracy Wilson, number 2, and I'm putting Larry Robertson the Reed, number 1. So why did I do this? Let's take a look at each individual character. So here we have Desmond White, age 37. He was born in Arizona but now lives in Cuba. And he was a Boy Scout and foreign military for I believe 7 years. The 10 items he brought, everyone brought a knife, a ferro rod, a pot. I think they all brought fishing line. They all brought an axe. And they all brought a sleeping bag. But I see his was only -10. Baby bag to go over it. And a gill net. Okay. So right at the start, Desmond seemed pretty surprised. Like he didn't really belong there. He got scared the second he saw bear scat and was looking all around. I guess he did not watch the first season because in Arizona, it's a whole different climate. Cuba's a different climate from there. I think he's just not used to it, even with his military training. Remember him saying he was surprised how wet and damp and how thick the forest was. And in the military, you're always with the other people, so you divide up the tasks. Maybe he's just not used to being on his own. So he went to start a shelter, but he decided to hang his food first. I don't know what he was thinking there. Wouldn't you want to start your shelter first and hang your food? But couldn't even hang the food with the fishing line because it was just breaking. And then he scouted out a little more and came running out of the forest after he saw more bear scat or heard bears. And he had his headlamp mounted on. It wasn't on, but I just found that a little strange. And then in the middle of the day, he tapped out. So we don't have to talk about him anymore. Let's talk about Mary Kate, who I ranked 3rd. So Mary Kate is 36. She lived with her family off the grid for 12 years in Montana before moving to Alaska. She is a personal trainer now in Alaska, and she also has forest fighting experience. With the 10 items she brought, so 0 degree rated sleeping bag. Should I go on that? Oh, she brought a tarp. Okay. And emergency rations like most of them. So at the start there, she seemed pretty confident, but then she had a pretty wide-ranging mix of feelings. Her drop-off seemed pretty good. She set up an A-frame tarp shelter, but she already showed signs of distress as she had a small breakdown while she was finishing that. And then when she woke up, her gear was all wet. But then she went headstrong and started building a shelter, so that's great. However, I'm wondering if she should have scouted the area more to find maybe a better location. I didn't see much fresh water nearby. She also has young daughters at home. One's a in the infant stage or baby stage, and so that's going to wear on her minds as the day goes. So that's why I ranked her number 2. She didn't seem all emotionally there. Well, she's a personal trainer, so she has fitness, but I wonder if she is a little lean. I like to see some fat in the competitors so they can burn the fat over the course of days and weeks. But on to Tracy Wilson, ranked number 2. She's from South Carolina, 44 years old. Her family taught her survival skills, and she has been working in the military and for law enforcement. Items she brought: minus 40 degree sleeping bag. So maybe that's a smart move. I don't know why we range from 0 to minus 40. Is there different properties for drying for different rated sleeping bags? I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me that. But she brought 2 emergency rations. Interesting. So she appears to have a decent drop-off spot. She was calm, collective, and went in and set up her tarp over a log. I like how she made a floor out of it, but then she propped up the ends with flimsy sticks. Wind, rain, I don't know, but it seemed to work out for her that night. But before the night came, she found some mussels on the shore, and I thought, wow, are you ever lucky to find that food source you can eat for weeks? And she even said that, but then she said that there is a toxin possibly in them called red tide. And so I looked up what that toxin is. It's any shellfish can get it. And symptoms are nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, abdominal pain, shortness of breath, confusion, and loss of coordination. Symptoms will typically appear 10 to 30 minutes after you eat it. So now I started thinking, so why not catch a bunch, maybe try a little bit, see if you get sick, watch your health close, just a little bit to see. If it's good, then go nuts eating them. However, the only problem is they could be fine one day, and then the infected algae could come in and they could become toxic 5 days down the road. But if you harvest a whole bunch at once, test a little bit out, and then maybe you're good to go. So we'll see what happens when she gets really hungry. She stays out long enough. But anyways, the rain came and got her at night. She got a fire going, which is pretty good. I remember season 1, they had all a tough time making fire. So that's pretty good. Now the fact I put her number 2, not number 1, the deciding factor was that she weighs 275 pounds. So is that good or bad? Well, in Alan's case, he was a 6'6" guy, and he weighed upwards of close to 300 pounds probably, and he probably lost about 60 pounds to win the show last year in 40-something days. But she's a lot shorter and a lot less unmobile because she's just out of shape. She was gassing trying to cut through one of those logs. And when you're that unmobile and out of shape, you could probably get injured a lot more easier. But that being said, I know that there's 3,500 calories to 1 pound of fat, and if you're lying around and at least you're warm, maybe in your sleeping bag in a good shelter, you might only need 2,000 calories a day. So she could potentially just, as long as she has drinking water, fresh water, she could potentially lie around for weeks on end and slowly lose up to 100 or more pounds even. So that's really interesting to think about. And number 1, Larry Roberts, 44 years old, from Minnesota. Minus 20 degree sleeping bag, gill net. He brought paracord. A lot of them, I think he's the only one so far to bring paracord. Everyone has fishing line. So that's kind of interesting. Some of them have a bow saw, collapsible. Some of them have a fixed blade saw. But anyways, he started off really confident and slow. He knew what he had to do right away. He had his priorities set. So he had the right mindset out there. And then he went hiking around. And he had a bad spot to start off. There's all these hills behind him. He has no flat ground, thick bush. So he started hiking up one of the hills to scout, following a creek. And he's holding his axe as a handle. And if he slipped, that could have cut him. But he has the camera in there too. I know it's raining. He really wanted to push it. But he got through that. And then he made a shelter leaning up a stick against the tree. They didn't show what he did that night, on night 1, but they showed him going into night 2. He had a fire going. At some points he was in a high spirits, saying this place is beautiful, but then he's like, man, winter's going to suck. But the fact he said winter's going to suck, that means he might be thinking long term, I'm not going to quit. So some bears were bugging him. He did not seem too overly scared about them. He did the proper thing to yell at them. And so there's the rankings. Larry is from, where is he from? Minnesota. So I know there's a lot of thick bush up there around the Great Lakes region. So if he's been training out there, maybe he's going to do fairly well. But next episode, Thursday, we'll meet the other 6, I hope. But like last season, are they going to keep following the timeline? So are we seeing the other 6 at the end of day 2, or are they going to have another show starting off at day 1 again to introduce these before more limited and they're all in the same time frame? I don't know how they're going to watch it, but I'm looking forward to the next episode. And anyhow, yeah, please subscribe to catch next week's review. I'm going to try to get it out earlier than Sunday. But feel free to criticize, comment, your own opinions at the bottom. What do you think? Think you read my rankings? Yes or no? Why? Let me know. If comments come in, I start getting some decent views doing this, I wouldn't mind starting a live stream right at the end of the show so we can all just have a random conversation. But anyhow, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.